Hi guys, welcome to my videos. So guys, today in this video I'm gonna share my opinion about how application processing time for Canada visa applications can be improved. Before I proceed further, if you have not already subscribed to my channel, please go and subscribe right now. And I would also like to clarify that neither I'm an immigration consultant nor I'm a government body. So the points we discuss in this video are totally based on my personal analysis. So guys, I have seen immigration processes of various countries. So in comparison, what I see that Canada is moving slowly. Why I would say slowly? That there are few reasons. Like if you go a bit back in 2015, Canada moved to express entry, online point based system, and that did reduce processing of economic categories like CEC, federal skilled worker to 6 months average processing time. But was Canada first country to implement something like that? No, not at all. Before that, Australia had this process for many years and Canada just followed it. There's no harm, but they could have done something similar before, right? But anyway, coming to some other points that still can help. So, when it comes to Canada immigration, for various applications, medical tests are required, right? You are asked to provide medical test, you go and uh, you go to a designated physician and then you appear for the test, and then you want this test to be updated in your profile. For some it happens in a few days, for some it takes even weeks, right? I have seen on social media various people even ask that, hey, for me it hasn't been done for these many days, these many days, these many days. Now let me tell you what happens with Australia. Australia too has similar process, and in Australia also, like, they have designated physicians. So when you go to those guys, like what happens, like in your profile, an invitation, or you can say a requirement or a request, whatever gets generated for the medical test. Okay, fine. You take that and you go to designated physician for your test, and then designated physicians directly upload it to immigration department. I mean, something similar happens with Canada also, but my question here is, why it takes so many days for the medical to get updated? Like, of course, like case by case it can vary, but consider a good case where all the criteria are satisfied. Why do we need an officer to go and take a look at it and then upload if everything comes normal for the candidate? Yes, I can understand there could be complicated cases. So for those cases, it's fine that before it gets into the system, there should be an officer who should take a look, verify, and then send it to the system. But for anything else, when as a candidate I'm going to do conduct a medical test with the request letter generated with my passport and other identity document, same documents I'm uploading in my profile also, right? So why do I need an officer to manually look at the document and I mean look at the document and let me in? Same thing is being done by the doctor at the clinic as well, right? So let's get through it. Some of you may say that how about photo verification? So for that also I have a point. When you apply, okay, when you apply, you upload your photo, right? So this photo can be easily printed through automation and various IT technologies. We have gone that far on the requisition form, and this requisition form can be made available to the doctor as well. So when the doctor sees the candidate sitting in front of him, he can see, is the photo on the letter matches the candidate, is the photo in the system matches the candidate and the form and the passport. So these are like, if these four verifications can take hardly a few seconds, but if we avoid a manual step of an officer getting into it and then updating in the system, and if it goes into the system directly, it's going to make life simpler for many, right? Not only just for the officer, because a visa officer in most of the cases, as we all know, that are overburdened. So if we take this task out and automate it, This is definitely gonna help in my opinion, because I have seen this with Australia. Like I went for Australia, next day like the doctor said to me that I'm updating in the system. Next day I checked, it was updated, and this was not something today, it was long back. This happened in 2014. So 8 years ago, Australian immigration was at this stage where Canada has not even reached, even after 8 years. So this step can be implemented. Then what happens if you are from a visa required countries? You apply after your application is processed. What is the next step? You submit your passport and you get a visa label sticked on one of the pages. Is it really required, guys? I don't think so. Many countries in this world as of now have gone to visa label free marks. Check Australia, check South Korea, and there are few more countries. Like in Australia, what they do, they digitally tag a visa to your passport. If you still want a visa label, there is a fee, you go ahead, but that's not required. Because when I was going to Australia, at the border, what I did, that I had my passport in my hand, and that visa grant notification I put in the passport and gave it to the officer. The officer took the visa grant notification out, handed back to me, and just checked my passport in the system and allowed me entry. This happened in 2015. So in 2015, Australian immigration system was at this level where we haven't even thought of going to even in 2022 in Canada. But imagine, guys, if this is implemented, is it not gonna save the time? It is, right? Because no, because what happens when your visa is approved, right? You get a letter to submit your passport. You based on your location, if you're in India you have VFS, if you're in Canada you send by courier, post, whatever. So that takes time, right? You can contact VFS, you schedule up whatever, and then you send the passport. It goes for stamping, and when it goes for stamping, where exactly it goes? It goes to the embassy or their processing office, right? And they have some workforce attached to it. I cannot say how many people and how many hours they are investing every day in this process, but definitely there is some, right? So resources are required for every kind of job. So like this can be just wiped out. We can just remove all this because other countries are doing it and they are doing it successfully. If Australians can do, why can't we Canadian do? I can't understand this. So like this will save a lot of time for visa officers, embassy, VFS guys, and most importantly, candidates. This will not even be required then. It will be really helpful, right? So, like it gets through, and that will also improve the processing a lot. So these are few things I said, and I know there could be many minor processing steps that can still be automated. Like there should be some sort of accountability, a maximum processing time, some kind of structure, some kind of uh, limit should be set on applications. I know it's easy to say but hard to do, but there should be something that helps moving the applications far. Now few more points I would like to see. If you have you ever applied for a Schengen visa? If you have applied, regardless of your first state of entry where you apply, it always asks like have you ever given your biometrics for any Schengen visa application? If you select yes, it doesn't ask you to go for it again, right? Same thing happens with Canada also, but here I would like to say something. Like when I applied my application and I was reading through the GCMS notes, I find that not on like they do the verification in other countries as well. Like they check, I think, US criminal records, Australia, New Zealand, I think four eyes, whatever it's called, I don't know exactly, but I think they are checking your criminal records in other countries as well. So if they can check the criminal records in other countries, can't they share the same biometric database? How it will help? I'll say that okay. instead of this question that if you have given biometric for past 10 years, if a question appears like this, that have you given your biometric for Canada, US, Australia, New Zealand and any other country they collaborate for this purpose in past 10 years or whatever years, many of us will mark it yes, because it's not necessary that Canada is going to be the first country where you apply for any kind of visa. You might have got a tourist visa to USA, you might have applied for a visa to Australia, you might have been through New Zealand for some other purpose, and any other country that collaborate. So if we have a shared database of biometric, it will also help them to verify the criminal records, criminal database much faster. Like fingerprints, you have biometrics run through the database and get it. I do understand this is not a simple process, and it will require lot of approvals, lot of consents, and lot of collaboration across various government agencies. But if we can get through once through this, it will make life much simpler for, many times for many candidates. Of course not for all, but definitely it will be. So this is just my opinion. So these are certain points, guys, I really want to discuss, and thanks for listening, and I hope you're gonna like this video. Thanks for watching, guys.